Hey everyone, it's Kathy and you're back at Kathy's Random Acts of Stamping, my YouTube channel, and back here in my craft room. And I'm so excited that you're here today, and I want to thank you so much for tuning in. And after you watch this video, if you like what you see, please give me a thumbs up. That helps my rating. And also, if you do like the type of videos that I do, think about hitting that subscribe button, and if you ring that bell, you can choose how often you receive notifications. That helps me grow my channel, and in turn, it helps me bring better and more productive videos to all of you. So I appreciate that. Before we get started with our project, I wanted to go over our seasonal Stampin' Up sale. I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator located here in the beautiful state of North Carolina, but I can take care of your stamping needs no matter where you live. So if you are not currently working with a demonstrator and you would like to know more about Stampin' Up, or you'd like products, please reach out to me. You can text me, call me, or email me. All of my information is in the drop down box below this video. Just click on that and everything will be there. This flyer, this seasonal sale, is actually a very in-depth. It shows everything that's going to be on sale those 3 days. The sale starts on Tuesday the 16th and runs through the 18th. So you will have Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday to take advantage of this sale. We also have a promo going on right now for anyone that wants to come in and join up with Stampin' Up, and you don't have to do what I do. You can come in and be your own best customer, and you will receive the Stampin' rewards. You will receive the discount for everything that you purchase, plus you'll get the catalog before anybody else, and you'll get to try the new products before anyone else does. So just some of the perks. But right now they're offering, normally it's $99, and you get to choose $125 for out of any of the catalogs that are current, the mini catalog or the annual catalog, and you get $125 for $99, but right now they're running that special. You get $125 for $75. So that runs through the end of November. So you have until the end of the month to take advantage of that. And if you have questions about it, please don't hesitate to give me a call. I would love to talk to you about it, give you all the information. But real quick, I want you to know that the sale that's coming up for 3 days only, 10% off of all of our cardstock. Now that's our solid color cardstock. It is not the designer series paper or specialty paper. 15% off of all of your ink pads, but the bundles are not included. So these are individual ink pads, and 20% off of all of the dies. Now these are dies that are listed here. This is not stuff in the mini catalog. This is restricted to the annual catalog, but it's a great sale. And as you can see, there's a lot of pages. Now you can find this flyer over on my Facebook group, Kathy's Random Acts of Stampin'. The link to that is also located in the description box below. You can go there and join, click on the Facebook link and join the Facebook page and get it. But if you don't do Facebook, or you just don't want to bother with doing that, shoot me an email and just request the seasonal sale flyer, and I will email that right back to you just as soon as possible. So I really want everybody to have this in their hand before Tuesday, which is tomorrow. So just wanted to let y'all know that. So before we get started, I want to show you, I have a subscriber and a friend of mine that saw this card on Pinterest. And this was my attempt of just playing around and trying to get something to come together. And it was okay. I'm not completely pleased with it, but I did use a little wink of Stella on my poinsettia. I got a little bit of gold leafing in there. I used a little bit of evergreen. I got some pine cones sticking out, and as you can see, we got this beautiful angle going on in this card. Now this is a 5x7 card, so I am going to be making it on a 5x7 level, but you can cut this card down the way I'm going to show you how to do your angles. And I started recording this earlier, and I had to stop and figure out an easier way to explain to everyone how to make these angle cuts, because angle cuts can be a little tricky. So before we get started, I'm going to show you the paper that I'm planning on using. I am using this, it's called Painted Christmas, and this is such a beautiful pack of paper. Look at these beautiful rich colors. So pretty, so Christmassy. I think y'all saw me do something with this paper. I think I did I think I did, I can't remember, but all of this paper is just absolutely gorgeous. Look at that. I mean, it just keeps going and going. Look at those pine cones. Aren't they pretty? Look at that greenery. So, so pretty. But I chose this piece, and this is the piece we're going to be using today. And the reason I chose this is because I love the red and the green on this. And I thought, you know, red and green, I love these new pastel colors because y'all seen me go completely crazy over those. But I wanted to do something a little bit different. So what I did is I cut my card base, and in order to do this, take an 8.5 by 11 inch, and this is the basic white thick, and cut your 11-inch piece to 10 inches, and then turn it around and cut the 8.5-inch side to 7. Then turn it back around and score it at 5 inches, and then you have a beautiful 5x7 card. And a lot of people like a 5x7 card because, first of all, you get a lot more real estate to put stuff on your card, and it's more of a rich card. So a lot of people like that. So I'm going to lay that up there. Then I cut a mat out of that designer series paper, and this I cut at 4 7/8 by 6 7/8, because when I put it on here, I want just the tiniest little amount to peek out, and you can see that's going to be a nice tight fit right there on that card base. Then the next thing we needed to do our angle cuts. So if you look at the card, our angles are going to be like this, and then we're going to have another angle that is going to come in like so, and we're going to have mats over top of each one of these like this. But I'm going to show you a very easy way to cut these mats. Here's our white mats here, and this is going to go right like that. And you can see how tricky it would be to get these. So I had to really kind of work the toes on my peg leg to get this to come out and to also make it easy for all of you. So I'm going to show you how I did that. What you're going to want to do is whatever color you want your triangles to be out of. We're gonna do them in white, so we have that white showing. But if you wanted to, you could do them in red. I'm doing it in white because, as you can see, I want my gems to show up. I want to be able to stamp a sentiment right there, and I really want that greenery and the poinsettia to really pop right there. So that's the reason. And I decided with this paper, I wanted to do it with this evening evergreen. That's such a rich, it's almost like a hunter green, and it is so rich and so pretty. And I thought, how pretty will that look on this white card with this greenery and the red in the background. So that's why I chose that color. So I'm going to show you, I made a couple of templates and I wrote my measurements down to kind of make it easy, and you can make these templates as well, and I'll show you exactly what I did. So for my green, let me grab a piece of green. Maybe I'll do red ones and then I'll hang on to these since I already have green. Let's pretend like we're making these for this card. I'll come back to my red piece, and this piece is going to be cut at 5 inches. What I did is I accidentally wrote the measurements for my other piece, and I changed them on here instead of on the other one. So I do apologize. All right, I'm going to cut that at 5. And then I'm going to turn it and cut it at 3 3/4, and that's right before you get to the 4. Now this should work. Then when you sit these two pieces on here like this and like this, that is going to be that rectangle. See what we did? Just like that. And all you're going to do to cut this is you're going to line up your point right there to your point right here. So just line it up into your track, and that's going to give you those two pieces that you're going to need. So I'm going to line that up just like that and cut. And there's your two pieces. Now one's going to go like that, and the other one is going to go like this. And that's going to give you your angles that you need. So that's those two pieces. That's That's for your solid piece. Yeah, we can make that work. So now our other pieces are going to be 3 3/4. So we're going to do white for this. So 3 3/4, which is going to be 3 right before the, I'm sorry, 4 3/4, right before the 5. Always keep an eye on your measurements and make sure that you're cutting right. It's better to cut one, measure twice and cut once. You know, that's the cliche. And we're going to do this one at 3 1/2. So bring it over to 3 1/2 and, oops, not score, but cut. And then we're going to do the same thing with this. We're going to line it up into our track, pivot around till you've got both points into your track. Once you have that, bring your arm down. I like to bring my cut blade into the middle of my piece so that I don't wrinkle the edges of these. So now these are going to fit perfectly on these pieces. So now you can put these on. You've got a nice little border all the way around, just like that. They fit perfectly. But now you say, okay, we got to do the other piece. So true. Well, I have a template for that as well. For this one, we need a piece that is 5 by 3 3/8, and we need our solid piece, our colored cardstock, I should have said, 5 1/4 by 4. So 5 1/4. So I'm gonna do 4 first. So 4 inches right there by 5 1/4. And then on this one, we are going to find the center of the bottom here. And the best way that I have found to find my centers is to use my Tim Holtz ruler. And the reason I like this ruler for that is because it has a 0 mark right here. And you can bring it over, and you've got your measurements down here that are different. So look at your measurements below this line, and we know that we've got 5 1/2. 5 1/4. So once I get that where I got 2 5/8 on each side, I know that's my center. That's the good thing about this ruler. So I'm going to put a tick mark right there to let me know that that's my center. And now all I need to do is cut from this corner down to there, and then from this corner, from this mark up to that corner. And again, we're going to do that with our scoreboard, because with this particular scoreboard, you've got this nice clear guide that you can see through it. So it makes it really simple. So I'm going to line that up right there in that track, right on that dot that I made, and I'm going to pivot this around, making sure I keep that right there until I have that corner peak into my track. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put that about middle way, lock my arm down, and I'm going to slice down and then up. That's going to give me that one angle that I need. Now this is the piece we're keeping, so I'm going to turn it around. This one is easier because all you have to do is line up that peak that you cut to with the other side of that piece right there. So line it up, push this in, slice up and down, and there is your piece. And this long side right here that measures 5 inches, a little bit over 5 inches. We might need to cut that one down. If you do, we can take like an 1/8 of an inch off of both sides, but we're going to try it first. So let me grab another piece of white cardstock, and we're going to get our 3 5/8, and this is where my 3 5/8 is where I messed up a while ago. So 3 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's the second tick mark after 3 1/2. So that's 5/8. So slice up, then turn it and put it in at 5, and slice that. And now the only thing we have to do with this, we know that it's 5 this way, and we know that 2 1/2 is half of 5. So this is a real easy one to do. So it's so easy to find your halfway mark. Let's move the trimmer so we can lay everything nice and flat. That works so much better. So 2.5, I'm going to line 2.5 up on both sides, and I'm going to bring that down almost to the edge, and see my 0 right there is in the middle. And if you wanted to, you could easily measure 2.5 in, 2.5 in, make your mark, and it would do the same thing. Now we're going to cut this the same way we did this red piece. So all I'm going to do is bring my trimmer back over. There's my tick mark that I made. So I'm going to be going from this top point over to this tick mark right there. Just make sure everything is in your trimmer guide, your blade guide, so that you make sure you get it nice and straight. And sometimes I fidget with this a little bit until I get it just right. I close it up and hold it and slice. And you're going to do the same thing. Remember, you're just going to pivot this around to where this piece is in the track, and the piece down here lines up in your track. So once you get those lined up, and that's not going to be hard to do, just like that. I like to hold one and then kind of pivot the other one. That makes it a lot easier to line it. That way you're not trying to, you know, fiddle with two areas at the same time. Come up in the middle, lock my blade, and slice. And there is our other triangle that will go on this piece. Now that is the hardest part of making this card, is getting your triangle pieces. So I have cut enough of triangles now where I've got enough of these to do another card, which makes me happy, because that way I can make another one of these beautiful Christmas cards to send out to my friends and family. So I'm going to move this off of my work surface, and I'm going to bring this piece back down, because this is our mat that will go on here. We don't need the card right now because we're just going to be building on our mat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring over my my green pieces, and remember, we're going to go, the longest edge needs to go right here, and I think I am going to need to cut a little bit of this off. So if you find out you need to cut it off, I'll show you the simplest way to do it. Bring your top peak all the way over to the corner, because this piece is going to fit perfectly right on these borders. Turn it over and make yourself a tick mark using the Designer Series paper as your guide. We can cut that off, and then it should fit perfect, because angles are hard. I'll be the first one to tell anybody, doing angles on a card can be the most challenging thing you can ever do. Same thing here, where you need to bring it over just a little bit, just like that. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to lift it up, turn it over, making sure I don't move anything. And look, it's about the same amount here as it was there. So these two need to be cut down. So all you have to do is take these to your trimmer. Here we go. Just like that, and it looks like it's right at 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to line that up in my track, making sure I got it on a nice straight line, and I'm going to slice that off. Still keeps the integrity of your triangle, but just takes off anything that might be a little bit of an excess. So line that up in your track and slice. We may have to trim the other ones off too, so let's do a trial run on these. And I am going to set that right there. Yeah, let's take about 1/8 of an inch off of this, since we did take a little bit off of the dark green. Let's take just a little bit off of that. See, a little bit less than we did on the other one. And yeah, the same thing here. We're going to put this in and bring it up to about there and slice. Now this is just going to ensure that everything's going to fit nice and tight, and it also shows you how to trim your angles down if you don't get them just like you want them. Okay, so what we want to do now is bring over this beautiful piece of red berry and greenery, and we want to put these right here. But before we put these on, I want to go ahead and adhere my white pieces onto these. And to do that, I'm going to do it simply with some glue. The easiest way for me to adhere is to use some glue. So I'm just going to make sure you get it up into those angled corners, because this is where, if you're going to have peeling up, it will definitely peel where you have the angled pieces. And then a little bit through here. And then we're going to bring that around and bring it all the way over and down, about like so. Once you get that set down, then just press it, just like that. And that is one of your angles. So leave that one right there so you can remember which way it goes. And now this one will go to the top. So we are going to put this piece on right here and get that nice and centered. And I'm going to use my bone folder, because sometimes when you cut cardstock, it gets a little ridge that sits up on it. And if you ever feel that ridge and it just doesn't feel like it's laying right, just iron it out. Use your bone folder or something flat to do that with. So now and I see a pencil mark on here, so I'm going to erase that pencil mark. And then we're going to glue this down right here, just like so. And now that's going to go on here just like this. And press it down. And, you know, these do not look the same. Yeah, they are definitely the same. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to adhere this to this piece of paper. So I am going to set this down right like this. Now if you want to take the extra bulk out right here, this is a good place where you can cut that off. If you want to, you can just use a pair of paper snips. Let me find my scissors. And what I would do is I would mark it so you don't cut off too much. Now that's going to be covered with the poinsettia and the greenery, but you still don't want to, you know, take off too much of it and it just not come together like you want it. So what I would do is I would hold it right there and maybe make a little mark there and maybe a little mark there. And then you can just snip off that little bit. Now if this doesn't bother you and you don't mind the bulk on it, you definitely do not have to do this. But I think it's nice because it won't make that little bump on your card right there. So now you can put this down right here, and you want to bring this out to the edge of that designer series paper, top and bottom. And then you're going to put this one down right here, and you want to do the same thing. Make sure it comes to the bottom just like that, and don't worry about that because you can see here you're not going to you're not going to see that because your poinsettia is going to be overlapping it. So let's go ahead and glue these on, and I'm just going to use a bead of glue. Now you can use your Stampin' Seal, Stampin' Seal Plus, or whatever you see fit to put whatever type of adhesive is your favorite to use. That's what I'm trying to say. So I'm just going to glue that down right there, nice and even, and that goes right there. And then this one is going to go to the top, just like this. Make sure you get it to the edges and to the top, like so. Now once you finish with that, then you have this piece to work with. And what we want to see here, we may need to trim this piece too. When you set this down, you want to have about the same amount of margins in between. So it looks like that this one does need to be cut off at about 1/4 of an inch, maybe a little bit less than 1/4. But let's try this piece on it as well. I think this one will work if we cut this one down just a little less than 1/4. So I'm going to put that in, and I'm going to bring it right about there, just a little less than 1/4, but a little more than 1/8, something like that. And move that blade, and then I'm just going to slice up like so. And now this piece will be able to fit right in here like this. And if you see that you need to trim this one too, we can. And it looks like it does need a little bit taken off on that side. I don't know why that side. Let's see. Let me get my ruler out again, because I thought this one would have been perfect the way it was. I want to make sure that this is for, see, did I move the other one over here? Oh, maybe. Okay, let's try this one. Nope. All right, we're going to cut this down just a little bit more off of it, and I'm wondering if I take it off. Yeah, we're going to take it off here, just like we did before. So on my longest point, my longest area, this flat piece, because this is going to be the point, and how I can tell that is this piece is just a little bit wider. This is at 4, and this piece is going to be at 4.5. So on the side that's 4.5, this is going to be 4, 4, and 4.5. We're going to take about 1/4 of an inch off of that side. So don't be afraid, even if you use the measurements I gave you, don't be afraid to trim down to make this work. Again, anytime you're working with triangles, especially if you're not using a die or something that's going to cut it perfectly, you can run into some issues with things not wanting to fit together. It's just the nature of angles. So now we can put this one right here, just like that, and then that should fit right in here like so. And we're going to bring this all the way out to the edge, and that's going to give you this beautiful showing of our designer paper through the side of that. Isn't that pretty? So now what I want to do is I want to go ahead and glue this onto here, but I want to stamp something on here before I glue. So let's see, or maybe I'll wait and do it afterwards. I need to do it before I put the poinsettia on though. So let's think about that. I'm going to look at my Poinsettia dies, and let's see. How about this one that says, "Thank you for making this a wonderful season." Isn't that a beautiful sentiment? And I think I'm going to stamp this in red because I really want a little bit more red on my card. So I'm going to grab my real red ink and grab a stamp block. I'm just going to pick that up. I'm going to bring this over here like so. And let's get our little Stampin' Pierce mat, because I want to make sure I'm getting a good amount. And I'm going to line this up nice and straight because you are dealing with an optical illusion. And I'm going to stamp as close to the right hand side as I can. So I'm going to ink it up and bring it right about there, trying to get it centered. And then I am going to stamp and come up. Beautiful image. Between the quality of the Stampin' Up! Stamps and the quality of the Stampin' Up! Inks, you will never fight with your images like you have in the past. It is quality, and nothing beats quality. I used to think that quantity meant more, but as I've aged, I have found out that quality means more to me. So that's why I love Stampin' Up! Because I know that I'm dealing with a quality product. Everything that I get is good quality, and that does mean so much. So now we can go ahead and glue that on. So I'm going to take my liquid glue, and I'm going to run some glue along here. Just like that. And then I'm going to bring this over and I'm going to sit it down like into that peak. Bring it over just a little bit. Once I'm pleased with it, then I am going to sit it down. Just like that. And I'll take my bone folder. And I'm not going to rub that ink because I don't want it to move. Give it a chance to dry. And now this piece is ready to go onto our card right here. So we're going to bring that all the way to this edge, and if you want to measure, you can, but you want about a 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch between these pieces. So you can shimmy it up or down, depending on how you want these to fall. But they're going to have an optical illusion, so don't worry about it. As long as you get it somewhat straight, it will work. So I'm going to take and put glue all along this piece. And then I'm going to hold it just like that. And I want to bring it, let's hold it like this, because I want to bring it all the way to this edge. So that's where I want to make sure that I'm coming down nice and even. And once I know that that's where I want it, it's nice and straight, I'm going to press it down. And I like the way that looks already. So now we're going to get some beautiful red cardstock, and we are going to commence to making our poinsettias. And again, I'm using the Poinsettia Petals and the Poinsettia Dies. Now this is in our annual catalog, so if you've been wanting this particular stamp set or die set, perhaps maybe you got the stamp set but didn't get the beautiful dies, these dies are going to be on sale, y'all. So just in case you want to pick these up and make some of these beautiful cards that I'm making, this will be a stamp set and a die set that you will use year after year. Poinsettias never go out of style, at least they don't for me. I'm going to be using more the dies than I am the stamp set today, and I'm going to use these leaves, and I have these put together with press and seal, and that holds these together perfectly. Another little tidbit that you might want to take note of. And I'm going to take all 3 of my Poinsettia Petals, the large one and the medium one and the big one, because I really want this poinsettia to make a show on my card. So I'm going to move that out of the way. And what I'm going to do is move some stuff off of my die cut machine. And I'm not going to bring that over. I'm going to cut these out and then come back and show you how pretty they are. I'm going to do some real red. I might even make the middle one a cherry cobbler. And we're going to do some greenery and some leaves as well. So I'll meet back up with you very, very shortly. Okay, we're back, and by the magic of YouTube and cameras and what have you, we have cut out, I have some gold pieces. I have some variety of leaves cut in the evening evergreen, as well as the garden green, or is that shaded spruce? I think that's shaded spruce. Let me double check, because I can tell you real quick. Shaded Spruce should be right about, no, that's Mossy Meadow. Shaded Spruce. Yep, I think this is Shaded Spruce. It is. Shaded Spruce. Okay, so what I have here is I used my die set called Seasonal Swirls. This is actually made to make a wreath with, but I thought outside the box and I thought, okay, what have I got that will give me some nice little green sprigs? So I thought, why not? This will work for me. So let me grab my scissors and I'll show you what we're going to do. We're going to snip these apart. So I'm going to come in here and just snip them. Just like that, just to get some little pieces of greenery. Just like that, and maybe right here. And you can see now we have some straight pieces of greenery that we can, and I didn't get that little piece out. There we go. So you've got some little pieces of greenery, and we're going to do the same thing here. I'm going to snip right there. I think I'll snip this one right about there. And you can just come in and snip wherever you feel like you want your pieces to end or start, whichever. So then I think I'll snip it right there. So that gives me some greenery to stick into under my poinsettia. And I did a couple of these little pieces the same as the gold. Toby. Sorry about that, y'all. But what I thought would be pretty is to have these kind of with them, you know, not really on it, but just to kind of accent it. And I thought that would be really cute. So what I want to do now is I want to build my poinsettia. And I cut the large, the medium, and the small, all out using my dies. So I'm going to take the larger one first, and I want to grab a bone folder, and you can just use any bone folder and just kind of curl your leaves. And if you notice, these leaves have lots of dimension in them, so I'm just curling them very gently downward. And I know you're thinking, well, shouldn't they go up? There's a secret. There is a little secret. It's called a crafter's secret. No, it's really not a secret. I think everybody that does flowers probably does this. But you want to do all three of your pieces and just curl them just the slightest little bit like that. And then we're going to use some Stampin' dimensionals, and I've got the minis as well as my regulars. If I can find my regulars, we might just put them together with the little ones if I can't find. You know what? We got more Stampin' dimensionals, so if we have to, we'll just pull out another pack. There we go. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, I think I'm going to do it with the little ones. I'm going to put one right here in the middle, take the backer off, and then I'm going to sit this one in, but I want to make sure that I rotate it so that my leaves are opposite. See how I'm putting the leaves in the empty places? So where there was an empty place there, I'm putting a leaf. Oops, you know what? I did the wrong one. Oh, it's okay. That's okay. We'll pull that off. It's okay. Not gonna lose sleep over that. I'm just gonna pull this off, and it leaves a little bit, but that's okay. Another one will stick to it. Let's try this again. We are going to use the medium one, not the small one. And I did end up cutting these all out of real red, because when I put the dark with this, I didn't like the way it looked. So again, we're going to do this, but we're going to offset where those leaves are coming right into the middle of this one. Just like that. Now we're going to do this one again. And for this one, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to set a dimensional right in the middle. And then we're going to set this one right over top of that, like that. And you know what? That's not wanting to stick because I didn't take the backer off. Because this one's got a little bit of stuff on it, I'm going to go ahead and put just a tiny bit of glue on this one just to assure that it's going to stay. And the one thing I didn't do when I was die cutting, I didn't cut my little piece out. On that first card, I used a little ditty that came in. It was one of last year's items. The little jewels, they were called the beaded pearls, and those are so pretty, and I still have some, but for the sake of the video, since y'all cannot order those anymore, I wish they had brought those back this year because they are gorgeous. I'm going to cut out a couple of pieces of gold, and we are going to use this instead. So let me cut these real quick. And there's one piece, and this piece has the little holes in it, so like that, and then we can line that up on there if you want to, or you can use a dimensional and put that on. I'm just going to do some glue. I think I'm just going to put a little bit of glue around here, and I'm just going to lay this down on top of that, about like that. And then once I get that adhered, we'll lay this in the center, and we will put it on with a Stampin' Dimensional so that it will pop up just a little bit. I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool because this is a little piece, and we're using a little tiny Stampin' Dimensional. And let's see how pretty that's going to look. I love that. Isn't that gorgeous? So this is going to go on our card. So let's bring our card back over. Well, not our card, but our mat. And this is going to go down right about here. I want it to hang over just a bit to hide that little place. Now, if you're worried about that little place right there showing, what you can do is cut a tiny little piece of red cardstock like that, and you can just glue that right in. That's a little bit too wide, so let's take it down just a little bit more. Just a tiny bit, and put that right there, and that will kind of keep that from being so noticeable if that bothers you. Now if it doesn't bother you, or you could, like I said when we were making that, if you want to just let that lap over, you can do that, or you can cover it like this if you're afraid it's going to show. So I'm just going to drop that in there like that, and then I am going to take my larger dimension. Oh, and I did find them. Here they are. And I'm going to put one on the bottom and pick that up. And I'm leaving all this other space open because you know why? I want to make sure, and I'm pressing that down just like that. That's going to be our main focal point. So now we want to come in with these little holly leaves, and this is where you're going to want to do some more trimming. Like this does not look like it belongs there, so I'm going to snip that out and snip that out. And then this can be tucked under here like that. And these work so great. You can just take and put a little glue like that and tuck them under, and you don't have to worry about them going anywhere. Just like that. And then here's a piece that can come out right about here. You want to kind of strategically locate them. I'll tell you what, let's stick them in first because I want to get my different shades of greenery in here. that. Oh, that's pretty. I love that. Maybe we need another one like this right about here. Isn't that gorgeous? Then we're going to do another one right there. And this one looks like it might need to tuck right there. And maybe this one right about here. Once you get those in there where you want them, then you can just pull them out, put your glue on them, and then just put them right back where they belong. I think it's much easier to lay everything out and then put it back than it is to try to place it and then you've glued it and you need to move it and you can't. That's never fun. So mash that down under there like that. And do the same with this one, some glue on the edges and stick it under there and press it down. Don't be afraid of the glue. And right here. And let's see, this one needs glue. That one's glued, so we're good with that one. And it doesn't take but a few minutes for these to attach, and then you're good to go. You don't have to worry about them anymore. Right there, and then we got a couple down here, this one and this one. So I'm going to put some glue right here, and I'll turn my card so I can get up under here just a little bit higher than what I thought I needed. There we go. Press that down. And then our last piece of greenery. And this is going to go right about here. Just like that. So now we got these beautiful little sprigs. So I'm gonna use these as well. We're gonna put one of these right here. Maybe maybe right there. That'd be pretty. So again, the only place you need to put your glue is right on the bottom of the stem, and let that attach under there. And I'm going to take another red piece, and I want it to come out from up here. So we're going to put this one down. This is, to me, is the fun part of creating, is the decorating and watching it come to life. So let's get that one right about there. Now that looks pretty. I like that. Bring that greenery back over. And again, this is kind of a little skinny piece, but that's okay. It works too. So let's put that right there. And then we're going to put the gold piece right there. So pretty. And I'm going to put this one down on the bottom. And we're going to turn that card so I can get up under here again. Just like that. Now we have our little poinsettia leaves, and I want to do a light and a dark. Maybe something like that, and tuck those in. Maybe right about here. And I want to kind of curl those up too. I'm going to glue these on top of each other. A light one and a dark one, a small one and a large one. And I'm going to take my bone folder, and I just want to turn the leaves up just a little bit. This will help give a little dimension. And we'll stick those right about there. Isn't that so pretty? We're going to put something on top of that if it's nothing but a little pearl. We're going to make it look like the ones, gold paper and some little pearls, and I think we'll have it. So let's put these two together. A little glue and cross them over. And I'm trying to decide where do I want these to go. Make sure my glue's adhering. Curl them. You know, what makes your cards special is all the little extra things that you do like this that makes things look so pretty. I think it does. So there's our leaves. I love the way those are looking. Or do I want these up here? Hadn't adhered them down yet, so that's a good thing. All right, so we're going to put some glue all back here. And we're going to set these up here. Like that. And then I'm going to put glue on these. And I like to try to balance. If you notice, I'm kind of going back and forth to see if I can get a good balance with my greenery versus everything else. Oh, I love that. Isn't that gorgeous? Now let me get some pearls. And if you don't have any of the little pearls, and I think I do, I hope I do. I got rhinestones. Oh, here we go. These are our little pearls. They come in 2 sizes. And if y'all notice, I cut the side of my package open so I can just slide them out. I like doing that. So I'm going to use the end of my putty tip, and I'm going to pull off and put some little pearls right into those little pockets that is on this little poinsettia, the little middle. Oh, that's so pretty. Look how pretty that is. So see, if we don't have the jewels like they had last year, we just make our own. That's what we do as crafters. If you don't have what you need, you make it. Now let's use one of the larger pearls. And we're going to drop that right in the middle and just press it down. These come with adhesive already on there. How pretty is that? So the other thing that I want to put on this card, I'm not going to put anything on the inside. I want to wait until I decide who I'm going to send it to, and then I will stamp a sentiment accordingly. Because I like to personalize my cards when I send them. But what I would do on the inside is I would mat it either in the evening evergreen, and then I would put a white piece over top. So in here I would put a mat of evening evergreen, maybe even a mat of red, and then white, and then stamp on your white. That would make a very lovely rich card. So these are the red rhinestone basic jewels, and these are so pretty. Look how gorgeous they are, and look how pretty they're going to look all over this beautiful card. I love these. I think I really like these better with the evening evergreen than I did with the real red. Just really does add something. And I'm just scattering them about. I'm not, no rhyme or reason. I'm just putting them down. I think one more, maybe right here. Overkill, but that's okay. One right there. Now all we have to do is glue this piece to our card. One more thing, I want to do some Stella, and this is the clear Stella, and I am going to put some of this on my poinsettia because I want it to sparkle, sparkle, sparkle. Now Stampin' Up! Sells the Stella, and it is gorgeous accent for your cards, especially during the holidays. So all the items that I've used will be listed in the description below, and if you're interested in any of these products, you can just go straight to my website and place your order. I also list all of the order numbers to make it real easy for you to put your order in. So you can copy and paste directly in. You can write down your numbers and then go to the order form and type them in, however you see fit to do it. But take advantage of these dies when they come on sale, because these dies, they are a standalone set. you can see you don't have to have the stamp set to use these dies. They're gorgeous. So pretty. So there's our Stella going in. I might have to place another order for Stella because I do use this. I think it's so pretty. It adds so much to most any card that you make. If you're one of those people that loves a little bling, or like me, you love a lot of bling, the Stella will definitely be your best friend. So I'm just making sure I get a good amount so that it shows off, and I hope that y'all are seeing that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hold this over, and I'm going to run my glue all along this card, this mat. And I'm going to bring my card base back over, and I am going to very strategically lay this down. You want to get it straight. You definitely don't want to put this much work in a beautiful card like this and then get it on your card base wonky. All right, there we go. Now that will adhere and dry, and this is going to be such a gorgeous card to give to anybody. And we could always go on with a piece of ribbon. Let's see, my holiday ribbon. Here is the sheer ribbon, and this is in that beautiful red. So I'm going to tie a bow. And get my loops together here. Something like that. Pull it really good. Make sure you got your loops going just the way you want them. And I am going to cut that off like here and here. And then we got a really cute little bow to go on our poinsettia card. And I think that bow will be perfect right about there. Let's see. Still not pleased with that loop. Do y'all do that? Do you tie a bow and then fidget with it forever? I do that all the time. So yeah, that looks pretty good. And maybe right there. Or maybe right here. I think I like it down here. Nope, I want it right there. So I'm going to grab a glue dot. And I'm just going to take the bow and sit it down in the glue dot. My favorite way to adhere a bow. And I'm going to pull that just a little bit. And then I am going to stick that down right about here. And there is our finished card. Is that not beautiful? I really hope that y'all enjoyed watching me bring this card to life. It was so much fun to make. And my subscriber, which was Alicia, she's the one that asked me to do this card. She sent me a picture of it from Pinterest, and I sat down and gave it a look, and I thought, yeah, I think I can do that, but I needed to simplify it. So that's what I tried to do. So if you have any questions about how to make this card, or any of my instructions was not clear enough, please, please, please reach out to me. That's what I'm here for. So I want to help you any way I can for you to be a successful crafter. So thanks so much for tuning in. Thank you for watching my tutorials. Like I said earlier, if you have not subscribed, please think about doing so, and that way you will not miss any of my videos. So until we craft again, may God bless and keep you. And remember what I always say, let everything that you do and say bring glory to our Father in heaven. He is worthy. Until we craft again, God bless and keep you. Bye-bye.